Welcome to the Gray Matters, where we discuss more than just the hot topics and headlines of the day from a black man's perspective. We appreciate that we are not a monolith, and every subject deserves to be explored with nuance, giving a view from all sides of the culture. So we're here to hopefully bring that to you every week with a little bit of nuance, class, and fun. Our panel consists of three guys that are absolutely nothing alike, and you'll soon come to find out just how much we love each other in spite of our sometimes very big differences. I'm Billy Craig, and I'll be your moderator for today, coming to you from still very mild but beautiful Delaware. Today, I'm joined by some real ride-or-die brothers. You know, the kind that stay even when everyone else leaves and decided to go solo. So, Ricky Bell coming from Nashville, Tennessee, and Rodney DeVoe all the way from Washington State. Good to see you, gentlemen. Say hello, please.
What's happening?
All right, let's get it popping. It's been a while. We've taken a little bit of time, a little pause for the cause, but we're ready to get right into it. So let's start. Mar-A-Lago. That's kind of all I need to say, but just to give a little bit of context, unless you've been off the planet for a little while, then you should know what's been going on down in Florida, where they raided, the FBI went in and raided Donald Trump's Mar-A-Lago estate, decided to go in and get the documents that he didn't leave when he was evicted. And so they made a big deal out of it on both sides of the aisle. The leftists talking about how egregious it is that he took all these files because they were of importance when it comes to national security, confidential, different degrees and levels of confidentiality were violated. The right was making it out to be like, you know, it was some kind of conspiracy, when the fact of the matter is the man just took a bunch of stuff that he wasn't supposed to take. However, without going into all of the who did what and right or wrong, the question I want to ask in this regard is, should America be afraid of what's happening on the political right and a lot of the polarization and the radicalization that we see on that side of the political aisle? Or is this just standard, typical theater like what we've always experienced? And we'll start with the least political among us, Paul.
Wow. I would say that it's theater, but there is definitely something going on. Something's cooking, right? And like I said, I look at this like it's a family fight, and I'm not in the family. Right? These is white folks fighting amongst white folks at the end of the day.
Say none of my business.
This is none of my business. I have no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have nothing to do with whatever it is.
Roll the window up. Just roll the window up and keep driving.
Close the curtains, mind your business. Turn the TV up. Pay that no attention. You know what I'm saying?
That's roll the window, drive just fast enough,
right,
to get through this, but slow enough so you
don't look at nobody in the eye.
Yep.
That's how they get you.
He saw it.
Right.
He saw it. I looked at him. He looked me right in the eye.
He saw the whole thing. Nah, I ain't seen nothing.
I have very dark aviator sunglasses for just that purpose.
Right.
He be the
right. You don't know what I'm looking at.
Sunglasses on.
Facts. So I don't know if it's more of a radicalization, or if it's theater, or but then again, or if it's just a response to the left, because it ain't much different. It's either get down or lay down on each side. You know, it's not about being loyal to principles. It's about being loyal to people, and that is what's caused what we're seeing now. Is people are more loyal to Trump than they are to the principles that America's supposed to stand for.
Okay. And what say you, Andre? Because I know you tore up over this. I know this is about it. I know how much you care about Donald Trump. Like this is really eating at you. So
if we say in this theater, it's one of those whodunit theaters, like where you go for a murder mystery dinner. But somebody actually really gets shot at the dinner.
Right.
wow.
Right.
The entire
There's real
thing,
bullets in this one.
I don't like Paul hit it on the head when it's talking about the justification coming from the right. It's not the fact that it's the right that's taken up for like the GOP or anything like that. They're taking up for him. Not because he's in the right, but it's what's best for them politically. Because for some reason, he still moves a needle. I have no idea how or why, but this justification is not scary. It's dangerous because now we're saying, because for balance, Billy loves to use this word balance when he watches Fox News to hear the other side. Right. To listen to the justification that, the FBI may have planted evidence and this is, and all these different conspiracy theories that they're going out here with that, hold on, but that wasn't, when Farrakhan said that, they didn't have that same thing. Like, no, this evidence is legit. The FBI had a reason, but now, they could have planted it. So if they can plant it on the former president, they can plant it on anybody. So I'm good if you want to, use that as the reasoning. But again, consistency. Use the same consistency, but they don't. And that's where it becomes dangerous is you are really going through all these lenses to protect your political career for this one person who we get back. I think we mentioned this in either the first or second episode where the dangerous part wasn't the fact that we had to choose between Joe and Trump. The terrible part was that those were our choices is Joe or Trump. And it seems like these are still going to be our choices in the next couple of years. And I don't understand how or why on this planet with 300 billion people and all these many people in the United States, this is what we have to choose from. And it doesn't make sense for us to continue to go down this path if we're trying to become a better society. Because one of the things, people are using, and the fact that I love this show, as far as the gray matters, is because this isn't black or white. Everybody's looking at Joe struggling, Joe was struggling. We
all knew he was going to struggle.
We knew he was going to struggle, but they use it as a justification. Say, see, this is why we should have had Trump. No, if we really fast forward and use a crystal ball and say that Trump got reelected, the economy might be a little bit better, but we would be in a more dangerous place. The man took documents home that they said you cannot leave. He pack all this stuff.
It can't even leave the ship, that room. It ain't going to leave that room. You packed out the White House.
Why are you taking documents
and got it on your
literal things? Just in the house, just chilling. Hey, here goes.
They let him.
Yeah,
and I don't understand how that's
you think they didn't go through Barack and Michelle and Sasha and Malia's every box and nook and cranny and envelope that they packed up out of there and made sure they had nothing
with one last pat down
wallet.
Gave a pat down on the way out
and they waved the wand down on them as they
pockets inside out.
Yeah,
yes, you Sasha too. Yeah, you too.
They let this man
cavity search
with missile plans. There's no reason for you to have that if you're not planning on doing something dangerous with it. That part I do agree with. When the left brings that up, is why would you?
It's for sale.
Yeah, it's for sale.
There's no doubt about that. It's for sale. Here's the thing I find interesting, Andre, because you just said it. This is why it all stops and ends with me. And it goes back to what Paul said about these choices. There's a reason why we only had those two choices. It's a stall tactic. It's basically, we don't want to move forward as a better society until we can figure out how to keep it white, until we can figure out how to keep it under our control. And I don't mean this from a racial standpoint. I'm talking about because it's very subconscious. This is not like people are actively thinking, how can I keep white Protestant men on top, but that is so ingrained in our thinking that not only
fabric of this, that is the fabric of America.
That is all that it is. Even to the point where you have people who can't be unbiased, who cannot be impartial when looking at evidence right in front of them, they go to their political corners. Black people, Latino, they're all hardcore left or they're hardcore right. And I heard somebody say this. I can't remember which senator it was, but he said something to the effect of, I wish I could remember who it was now, but he said something to the effect of, listen, actually, the government and the Constitution and our laws, those things can be changed. And everybody was just all outraged, like, how could you say such a thing? And it's like, no, he's not only correct that those things can be changed, they should be changed. And they should have been changed a long time ago. The problem is, and I've said this from the beginning, Donald Trump is a manifestation of us not being willing to evolve as a society. We've kept certain things. When I say us, I mean the country as a whole, because I happen to live here. I'm saying that whoever it is, the powers that be, there is a resistance and an unwillingness to accept the fact that we are no longer a strictly white, male-dominated society.
Well, follow the money. Who controls the media? That's where, it starts there. We get our choices from them, right? They tell us who we pick. They put the people on stage. They are the stage. They decide what news to show, what's newsworthy, who should put on, who gets on 6 o'clock when they get shot or robbed or something happens to them, right? Who we should look for when they're missing.
Yeah,
like the young lady whose boyfriend killed her in the van out here. And folks was just so crazy about that, but they didn't care nothing about the Relia Wilson girl who was missing. You see, like it's so ingrained, and that's where it comes from. So who controls them? Who controls what scripts get greenlit on television, on in movies and things like that? Because that's where we form most of our political and religious ideology, is from entertainment and media.
Yep.
It's given
that
to
is
us.
The influence, exactly.
Yeah,
nobody thinks for their own or can be independent
of
groupthink. And I think it's funny that you mentioned that about the media. There was a series. I thought it was incredible. I loved it. It was on HBO, if I'm not mistaken. What was it? Regina King was in it. What is the name of that series? Either way. It was so forward thinking that out of nowhere, they just cut it off. They just stopped it. Like it was exposing so much about the underbelly of our society. And I don't think it was just accident or coincidental, because people were watching it. They just pulled it because it was one of those things where it was getting too close. I guess the whole thing about Donald Trump is I look at the support that he gets, because some of this is just flat out comical, the way the excuses that people come up with. Oh, well, he brings his work home. Like, what? But more to the point, there's a reason why Donald Trump has traction. Everybody talks about him being a media genius. No. Donald Trump was willing to say what so many people who are slowly dying off actually believe, which is, we need to make America great again. We need to take this thing back. We need to run this back a ways because it's getting out of control.
We have made way too much progress and it's making me uncomfortable how much progress we make.
Because there was about to be a breakthrough.
Y'all not okay.
And
I'll
you
say
see it with the Buttigieg's and the Andrew Yangs and the different ones. It wasn't that they were ever going to be nominated by the Democratic Party. It's the fact that these people actually feel like they got a shot. Like they were showing up with their job applications. You're thinking, who even told you to have that kind of boldness? There's a shift.
Who told you we was hiring?
Right. Who told you we were hiring? You showing up in here talking, we ain't doing open interviews. What are you doing, Andrew Yang? The point is that there is a conflict going on. And while I agree with what Paul's saying, that we kind of just need to sit this out and let them fight it out, we do need to keep our eyes and ears open and pay attention. Like you said, go on, close the curtain, turn the music up. But you need to look out there and see if the police are still there. Like you need to see if the sirens
they not coming.
there.
Peek out the window a little bit.
They not coming. I live in Portland. They not coming. They will let them shoot each other, beat each other in the street. And you know why they not coming? Because they part of the police. They out there.
They the ones facilitating.
Yeah.
You know why the Proud Boys ain't getting stopped by the police?
Because the police are the Proud Boys.
Bruh.
Just like 100 years ago. There's a reason why ain't nobody stopping.
That's why you close the curtains. That's why you close the curtains.
Yeah.
And let them sort it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you
thing we need is for them to know it was us.
Or be able to blame us for it.
That's really it, is to be able to blame us, because that's what they did the previous 8 years.
It's the Black Lives Matter people. I lived in Salt Lake City. Now I live in Portland. Ain't nobody black downtown messing up nothing, bro. Ain't nobody black in town.
Nope. They literally show up, file their paperwork with whatever who they got to do it with, and then they leave.
There was a big controversy because the person, if I'm not mistaken, in Salt Lake City that ran the Black Lives Matter chapter was not black.
Yeah.
And was doing a whole bunch of whoop-de-whoop. Like, look, bro.
Yeah. So the next time you hear something about Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump, the FBI, what the Department of Justice is doing, think of Paul.
Wow.
Think of Paul. Keep on driving.
That's cold-blooded.
On, and mind your business. Monkeypox.
Wow.
According to the CDC, this is
it's going to be a short segment.
Yeah. According to the CDC, monkeypox is going from an emergency and it is reaching borderline epidemic proportions.
Do go on.
It's getting bad, right? That's according to what the CDC says. Now, I find it interesting because, I honestly, in doing the research and looking into this, I find that the numbers don't quite add up. Like what they say, the math ain't quite mathing on this.
Mm-hmm.
Is monkeypox really a health crisis that deserves the media attention and the attention from the World Health Organization and the CDC like it's getting? Or maybe a better question is, do we even need to care about monkeypox? And I'll go to the person who's most closely connected to monkeypox of the three of us. And that'll be Andre. What say you about monkeypox, Andre?
Oh, man. I knew we was going to be on one today. I knew it. In the pre-production meeting, I knew we was going to be on one. So I'm going to go ahead and let that bullet fly.
I'm obligated to the truth. I am bound to the truth. I got to keep it 100.
I'm going to pray for you.
So what say you about monkeypox, Andre?
Man, I think overall, no. The first part is, should we pay attention to? I mean, I guess technically, yes, we should pay attention. But has it risen to the level where the World Health Organization and CDC needs to get involved and push it? I would definitely say no. One, just because of, like, I know in the last segment we were talking about conspiracy theories and how, dangerous they can be. But on this one, I really feel like this is part of a conspiracy theory. And I'm not really a conspiracy person, but on this one, they keep, like, they keep trying to figure out ways to keep us home, like, and distracting from other things. And, you know, it like the attention became real ratcheted up on monkeypox right after, you know, the abortion ban and things like that. Like, it's the magic trick of, don't look what I'm doing over with my right hand. Let's pay attention to this left hand thing. You know, I'm giving you a show over here.
Let's keep the energy going for something that really there's no energy for.
Like, it was real similar to the, you know, quote unquote Ebola outbreak that we had here, where the white lady went off on a bike ride because she refused to stay in the house, even though she was the only person that we knew in the country who had Ebola. But at the same time, there were laws that were going on and things that were happening with the Supreme Court. At the same time, this lady was doing whatever she was doing. And so they made this a huge thing. And I truly believe, one, I'm definitely not worried about catching monkeypox. Like, that's not my circle. I know what y'all take gonna be, so I'm gonna let y'all dive into that part. But for me, I just think it's a look over here, but don't look over here type scenario. Like, that's,
since you're bringing up circles, it was interesting. I went back because I know that there are people who will watch this and think, well, I mean, of course we should care about monkeypox, and of course, and it's anything that's causing people to die, any type of disease. Of course we should care about. But I was looking at the numbers, and I found this, to be honest with you, staggering, because I had never looked at the actual numbers. 99% of the known cases of monkeypox are men. Like 99%.
What's the demo?
94% are, what do they call them? MSN, new acronym. You know, we got to go through the alphabet, the QWERTY keyboard, right? So men sexually involved with men. They've abbreviated that down to men, MSN. Okay, not to be confused with like Microsoft Network. No. MSM, men who are making sexual contact with men. 94% of all monkeypox cases are them. And when I say them, it's because them is not me. It is a them. I don't get down and deal with men who are sexually active with other men. Not in such a way that I would be able to contract it. And it's almost like they don't want to call it for what it is. They don't want to deal with it for what it is, which is, this is a gay disease. And should I care about gay people? Absolutely. I personally feel like, you know, with my faith, my beliefs tell me, yes, I should care.
Wilson, Reagan.
Hey, I'm all of it. Hey, what they say about dead clocks? Okay.
Wow. Like, you took it back to 1985, listen, bro.
I'm only saying, well, here's what I'm saying is, I feel like
it's just Rock Hudson. Leave it alone. Don't worry about it.
Only thing I'm saying is, it's just like HIV and AIDS. I recently had an uncle who passed, and he was someone who contracted the AIDS virus. The interesting thing about it is that he was aware and honest about the fact that this wasn't just some, you know, something that you just go out and you get it because somebody sneezes and you happen to be in the same aisle at the grocery store. Like, no, he lived a whole lifestyle that led to that. Just like there's certain lifestyles that lead to diabetes, or there's certain lifestyles that lead to obesity, or there's certain lifestyles that lead to these different things. And so it's not a condemnation. That's not where I'm going with it. What I'm saying is, it is difficult for me to feel like it should be raised to the level of panic and concern that is being given in the media and the attention that is given, when the fact of the matter is, this is very isolated. It's extremely isolated. Like, even when you talk about 99% of it being men, well, that means we got more women in this country, and they're basically saying, like, you're fine. This is not coming for you.
Are those women in Atlanta?
I didn't even look up the stats in Atlanta, but with that, say what you got to say, Paul. Go ahead.
You know what? I didn't already. My shoe was my Jordan got poop on them right now. I just did that with the Atlanta comment. I got it.
Don't get it.
All right. First of all, yeah, you sounded like Reagan with that. I thought exactly how you thought when I first started reading about it or whatever. But then I thought about, like, we got a real bad drug problem in this country. Yeah. So I would imagine there are a lot of folks who are at risk just because of the drug use and things like that. Granted, going back to your point, these are lifestyles and whatnot and whoop-de-whoop. But it can affect people who aren't in the lifestyle. We all know a drug addict we don't know is a drug addict.
Or we do know is a drug addict and we still love him because that's my son, that's my daughter, that's my dad, whoever, yeah.
Right. So that's where I have to get off the bus on your take.
You got off of Finneytown. You were going to take Tri County with you?
I couldn't go all the way, out to Tri County with you. I had to stop at Brentwood Bowl.
See, and the thing about it is, even with those numbers, I understand that there are a lot of people who, frankly, because this is fairly new, and the numbers are not nearly as vast as the media would lead you to believe. There are a lot of people who are not reporting it. In fact, they said one of the things that happened, they said something in the neighborhood of 80-something% did not either reveal that they had signs, because apparently it showed you find signs of it up to 3 weeks before it's full blown. But the point was, there are a lot of people who they're not reporting. They're not saying anything about it. And that happens in anything, right? How many people out here have some diagnosis that they just, aren't sharing? For a lot of different reasons. We understand that so much of sexuality can be one of those things where it's private and I don't want to get into it. Again, I'm not saying this from a condemnation standpoint. I'm only saying that when we think about monkeypox, the way that it's being presented is as though it is something that anybody and everybody can get. And theoretically, yeah, that's true. But put the label on the box the way that it's supposed to be so that I can know what it is. Because, you got people who are misinformed out here thinking, I don't want to go out here because they're going to I might get monkeypox. You don't stand a chance of getting monkeypox.
Well, all right. Well, we make a big deal out of the trans situation, right?
Yeah.
Have you looked the numbers up on that?
That's okay. Send me back to the Reagan administration.
It's like
I'm right there.
I want to say it's like
it's 1%. A fraction of 1%.
Yes, it's like a tenth of a percent. It's literally a tenth, or I want to say
it may be like
0.007, not even a whole tenth. I'm rounding up.
Yeah.
But we got people ready to kill Dave Chappelle.
Right. They're ready to cancel that man's whole career, ready to run
ready to harm him. Who are these people?
People with an agenda.
Okay.
Apparently the same people that are trying to scare me about monkeypox.
Okay. Now I done got back in the whip with you. You done came back around and picked me up.
Hey, the 20 was very consistent. We back.
Right.
Just go to the other side of the street and head south. Right.
Right. That's it.
So we still can tie this back to a portion of the last segment, which is who's controlling the message.
Mm-hmm.
And why are they controlling the message in this fashion? Like, why are we not saying, okay, 99% of this is men, 94% are men who are sexually active with other men?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the media, there is a huge shift between the Walter Cronkite and all those people who were just the textbook straight white men to now who's working in the control room.
The Don Lemons.
Yeah.
And those boards. Like there's
call them out. The Don Lemons, the Rachel Maddows, those who are far left on that side. Yeah.
What's Gloria Vanderbilt's son?
Cooper, Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper. Like
what's the guy that switched from Fox over to CNBC now? You know what I'm talking about. Okay, that's right. Y'all don't watch Fox.
But anyway,
I don't touch the stuff.
But just but with that, would they? Because they have a huge like message platform, but they're not also saying, hey, it's people who are like me who are catching monkeypox. Like they're not taking that onus, and they control, again, a majority of the messages that are going out. So our show itself is probably going to enlighten people to look up the numbers to find out that we ain't lying.
Yeah, because somebody's mad right now talking about, how do you know? Oh, well, I'm just going by what the CDC posted.
So I just find it interesting on how the message is being conveyed. And again, I don't fit any of the demographics on the people that are currently contracting it. So it doesn't move my needle at all. But this is a weird one because normally it's a follow the money trail. But I don't know the benefits of following the money for monkeypox. Like
maybe there are a lot more rich white men clapping dirty booty cheeks than we care to know.
Oh, okay.
You got to think about who's affected. That's who becomes it. That's what makes it important. Is who's affected.
Which goes back to follow the money. There's always money behind it. There is money behind it, and that's the thing. One of the, and that's what I find concerning about it is that people who are not as informed don't seem to realize it's always follow the money. There's a lot of people that have an agenda. It doesn't mean that it's always nefarious or underhanded. Sometimes it's just, I don't like this projection or this feeling of guilt that's being put on me because I feel like as a homosexual man that I shouldn't have to feel bad about something. Well, the fact of the matter is I ain't telling you to feel bad because it's not a matter of homosexuality. It's really a question of monogamy because, clean or dirty, if you're out here running, or in the same thing like when you talked about people sharing needles, people who are drug users that require them to be able to exchange fluids like blood and things like that. That is where any of these viruses and diseases are actually being passed. It's a matter of keeping it clean. I don't care if you are gay. It's like keep it in your network, keep it in your circle. But since there seems to be a common thread here, and since Andre said he doesn't run in any of these circles, let's move on to the next circle. Incels.
Hey, I don't run in them either.
Hey, listen.
I don't know nothing about that, bruh.
Listen.
I know more gay dudes than I know incels.
Listen.
I got some real gay homies. Like, I have no incel homies at all.
Listen. Okay. Well, then I tell you what. Admittedly, this is right in my wheelhouse because as a pastor.
A gang of them, huh? Them your people.
Hey, listen, the way that the church is set up, this is right in my wheelhouse, and so I'll take this one. But for those who don't know, you may be thinking, incel, what are you talking about? The word incel is essentially an abbreviation to make a word out of two words. It's involuntary celibacy. The idea that, yes, I'd love to be in a romantic, sexually active relationship, but I am involuntarily put there because I have no choice. And this was brought up by one of our friends on Facebook. And she talked about this from the female perspective. We'll get into that in a second.
Because it was the rise of the female incel.
The rise of the female
was
incel.
Listen,
she done put her flag, she done put her stake in the ground. she went in, right?
Right.
And a lot of this goes back to not only follow the money, but how the message is being managed. Because essentially, what has happened is even this idea of an incel. I mean, we basically back when I was young, it was just you wasn't getting no action. Like girls didn't want you, which I also find it hard to believe that there's not a female out here.
There are ugly babies. There are ugly babies. Don't tell me you can't find somebody. There are ugly babies. A lot of them. Oh my God, so many ugly babies in the world. But I digress. My bad, Rev. Go ahead.
Listen. Here's the question. All right.
He took the entire train and moved it to a whole different track.
This man got off the 20 and went.
Now, this is back to the pre-production meeting, though.
Okay. Yes. That wasn't supposed to get out the pre-production meeting, okay? That was part of the pre-production meeting, okay? But here's the thing. We talk about people who are struggling to find matches, people who are struggling to find these relationships. One of the things that was interesting, I read, believe it or not, this came from an article that I was reading in, what is it called? Institute for Family Studies, okay? Largely kind of conservative and, you could argue kind of a Christian organization, even though that's not on their label. But they were talking about this idea of male sexlessness, right? And one of the things that was interesting, they said that what you would find is that this isn't a matter of something that's in reality. It's more of an illusion, because they did the numbers and they were talking about people who were sexually active but are not in a marriage. And they said in a year span, they averaged 60 to 80 sexual encounters. They said those who were married were only slightly more, which was, if you're married, the average was 70 to 110 times per year. Now, don't worry about it. I've already done the math for you, as I did in the last segment. So here's the deal. If you're basically, what it's saying is, on average in America, if you are sexually active as a male, but you're not married, you're having like one in a piece, like a week. Okay.
You're actually having less sex than married people, which is actually the myth that you have less sex once you get married. That was cool. I learned something.
That's it.
Keep talking, man.
Now here's the thing. They, on average, again, give or take, because the numbers and reporting and who is the different, who's the subject, who's the group. The average was for a married couple, and they were going between the ages of people who were still able to actually have sex. Once you get in your 70s, it's like,
oh no, they got them pills, cuz.
Yeah.
Everybody getting it in now.
They said it was roughly just under 2 times a week, so basically like 1.7 times per week, because they did them based on, again, an annual average. There's peak time, slow time, all kinds of whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is that actually, and here's the larger point, people are just not having nearly as much sex as other people think. When you really think of it, because I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, what is the average? Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm married, and I was like, no, that sounds about right. I mean, I got a job, I got multiple things to do. I'm not out here just sex crazy, and I consider myself, because by the way, this is important for the. I'm
gonna say something. I'm gonna cut you off right here, Rev.
Okay.
When we were all in high school, we were relatively kind of like something like them dudes. Like Dre was that mug, but we was something like them dudes too.
He was only in the winter, in the fall, and the spring though, when it was like football and track season.
It is what it is.
The wintertime we fell off. But.
We was choosing though.
My name stayed in the paper.
We was choosing. Right. We was choosing though. Facts. Right. All right. It wasn't nothing but a couple of us out there like that. It was a lot of dudes waiting, hoping we didn't show up to the party.
And seeing what we were leaving with. Right.
Right. Like, oh, he about to holler at her. I can't holler at her tonight. No, you can't. Right.
And that's the thing.
So the averages, like you said, it's the sample.
Yeah.
And who they ask. Because if you ask some athletes and some entertainers, their numbers gonna be different than
and somebody. What happens is, one of the things that happened, and this is what I was getting ready to just add this piece of perspective. You kind of were leading me to it right there. Part of what happens is with this population, and this goes for the rise of the female incel, as well as the typical studies have been done about men in this group. They have this fictitious belief that A, everybody's running around here having sex all the time, and B, that essentially the attractive males are taking up all the sex. Like, they're just hogging it. Okay?
Well,
so they have this bitterness and this resentment towards men who they think, well, he's more charismatic and he's more friendly and he gets along better and women seem to like him. And I hear the conversations that they're having when he's not in the room. And I frankly, the reason why I wanted to bring this up, not only because it was brought up to us, but I find it fascinating because actually it, in my opinion, separates, and you talk about like back when we were young, it literally decouples and separates the idea that at what point do you stop looking for sex outside of actually having some type of
meaningful connection,
some type of connection? Because that's kind of the thing. And I kind of feel like media, entertainment, the ways in which you, especially when you're young, process and learn about sex. If you learned about sex from porn, if you learned about sex because you were reading books and magazines or watching television, then
or from rappers
and singers and songs, you read the lyrics on the back of the CD.
My bad, Joe.
Okay. Thanks. This is on you, right?
Right.
But no, the thing about it is, if that is where you're getting your understanding of sex from, then you're bound to be frustrated. Even if you are getting it all the time. Even if you're getting it multiple women, you just out here. You're never going to be happy and fulfilled and feel good about it because you're getting it from the wrong places. And I brought this up again. I started with this because I kind of feel like, frankly, not that this is a direct connection that most people would make, I kind of feel like the church is complicit in this because of the way that the church teaches, or dare I say, is unwilling to teach.
Don't tiptoe, because I will step in that.
The fact of the matter is, the way that
y'all hoard all the women for yourselves, not you, but in general. We talking about the Rulon and Warren Jeffs. We talking about the Kingston clan. We talking about Brigham Young, Joseph Smith.
Yes.
We talking about all them types of cats.
Yes, and it literally it is a not to mix metaphors here. It is a perversion of what is actually supposed to be understood about sexual activity and sexual intimacy and sexual behavior, to the point where it's like, you know, you're basically, you feel like you're getting robbed or cheated out of something that actually you're not missing out on. It's right there for you.
Well, they feel owed. That's the part that it's there. You owe me some box. Nah, bro, you need some game or some money.
How about smile and say hello?
You need some game or some money. The women have told you what it takes.
Yeah,
they've told you what it takes. Either have some personality or go get you some money, bro. It's not hard.
Or you can be like Andre and do both.
So the one thing I will say that has thrown a curveball into this topic, and you touched on it, but it's a bigger point that than we originally, probably want to admit. The internet has played a huge role in people not having to go out and have sex. Just because, like, dating is expensive. Let's just go ahead and let's just be honest. Like, dating is expensive. It's time consuming. It's all of these different things. And so for the people who aren't having sex on the regular, you can always Google whatever category that fits you and have your have your moments of pleasure there and call it a day. Like, back in the day, masturbation used to be something nobody talked about. Now it seems to be just like, it is what it is. Like, comedians, now it's just regular jokes within comedians and circles and things like that, where
they do that before they meet each other. Hey, take your phone out. Let's see what's popping.
So I think part of the sexual frustration comes into, there's many factors. Like, one, dating is expensive. Two, people lack the actual personalities now. Like, people lack human social interaction skills to be able to go through what it takes to be able to date somebody on an intimate level. And also, now, the one thing that hasn't changed, I will say, is that the same women still chase the same men. Like, 10 women will chase the same 3 dudes, no matter what. Like, I know he got 42 kids. I know he ain't good. I know he got 6 felonies. I'm going to change him. He going to be my man. Like, and if you ain't in that 3, one of them 3 is tough out in these streets for you.
And I can tell you, the older I get, let me tell you something. They're going to chase that man to the grave.
Boy.
Okay? They still haven't let that flame go.
Gave up real good men waiting on this one dude that got 7 other women still chasing them too. Like, that's a whole different segment.
But and by the way, was shot back in '96.
And by the way, real quick, shout out Giodi, because you were the one that actually brought this up on my timeline and went in. So shout out to you. Hopefully you're watching this week.
Are the women as aggressive as the men are in the incel community?
Well, women in general are not as aggressive as men.
I don't mean aggressive. I'm talking about in their angst.
No, they're not nearly as embittered. There's a certain if I were to label the emotions, there is a feeling of resentment, but not nearly as much aggression. Because a lot of times what you'll find is women take this perspective, at least what I was reading up about it, because again, I'm not particularly familiar with that except from a very narrow perspective coming from a church perspective. But most women are looking at it from the standpoint of, what did I do that made me undesirable to a man? Whereas men are walking around here feeling like, you know what, I'm a good guy and I got good grades in school and I've never broken the law. I don't understand why you chose Paul. I should be able to have somebody. This is a wrong, and we need to pass legislation, or we need to do something that will mandate that I can get me some action here.
Well, but also I think the way it's perceived, like lack of action is perceived. Like, for women, they can use that time to find and explore themselves and become whole and things like there's always coaching that goes with the mindset
like
of
a
woman not having
reason.
Yeah. But for men, it's like, you a loser, bro. Like, you not getting none because you suck at what you trying to do. Like, and so there's a different level of pressure that comes with, I think men's frustration is because they feel like they owed some ass. Like, I think that's really what it comes down to. Like,
similar to how women may feel the frustration, or like, God, what is going on if I can't have a baby?
But here's the difference, though. With men, we don't think we know where we stand at all times. Like, let's keep that 100. We don't think we the baddest mug in the room if we ain't the baddest mug in the room. I could think I'm the baddest mug in the room until LeBron James come in there, and I know
there's
that it's a wrap.
Somebody better, right?
We recognize there's levels to this.
Right. Women get told all of them, from the prettiest to the not so prettiest, that what you sit on in your panties is so special, any man would want that, and he'll do anything for it. And I think that warps their perception of what is supposed to happen, or what a man is supposed to do, or a man is supposed to go through in order to have access to them emotionally and physically. You know, where men, we looking at the girls in the Rump Shaker video, and they looking at Disney. Like, it's a complete crossing of wires.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And just to wrap it up real quick, I'm just going to wrap it here, because I'm going to just say this. For all of you incels, people who are struggling to get that action, let me just tell you something. The grass is not always greener on the other side. Because there have been many days where I come home to my wife, and actually it was a lot more work now that I'm married than it was before. I'm just going to say that. Sometimes I honestly feel like I be getting lucky. And we sleep in the same bed in the same room all the time. I be getting lucky sometimes, man. It's like, hey, I do better at the mall. There ain't nobody even at the mall in 2020. I might do better. I sometimes be wondering, like, did I make the right move? So go back and read those numbers, because the grass is not always green. You might think you having it bad until you got to come home and get lucky. See what you can scratch up in the kitchen because your wife is in there.
Porn is free, bro. Go take a shower.
All right.
That's it. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, like it's a nut, bro. Like, come on, man.
And on that
like, you really ready to wreck it all?
Listen,
for something you can take care of yourself?
Something you ain't never had. Well, with that,
I'll buy you some.
Andre already said they ain't got no money to be buying none. Cut it out.
Hustle. Then you don't deserve none. I hate to sound like, I hate when dudes say that. I really hate when dudes say that. I really, really, I despise it. I can't believe I just said this on camera. If you ain't got no money, you don't need none.
Hey, that sounds like every other TLC.
My God. I ain't even talking about like rich, but bruh, if you can't put like $40 together, come on, bruh. The market plummeted. It's $40. Yeah,
but with inflation, is it still $40? I'm not.
Man,
you would
look,
know better than I.
We in a gig economy right now, bro.
Hey, you got
it. You Fiverr?
Now the $40. You might have to lower the standards for your $40.
I mean, monkeypox might come with that $40.
Nah, if you don't want monkeypox, you gonna have to come over more than $40.
I'm just saying,
you just got a revolver. You playing Russian roulette at that point.
But
all right. Well, with that being said, we're back for those that are missing in action.
Mm-hmm.
Those things that we need to show up. Those things that are missing. And as always, the APBs will start with the letter A, because I'm still on my letterman thing. So A is for Andre, I think. Last I checked. What you got for us, Andre? Who's missing? Who you need to show up?
The person that's missing that I've really been looking for a couple of years, and we was looking for him for a year before that. Daniel Cameron is who I'm looking.
Wow.
So, for those who may have forgot or don't remember, it's easy because he went into hiding. This is a true APB.
Like, like you actually went to the wire.
Right. He was or he still is, the Kentucky Attorney General who decided not to prosecute anyone that was involved in the murder of Breonna Taylor.
The brother.
Yeah. And we're going to get to that. Yeah. So,
where my wife at? Let me tell you something. As a native from Louisville, Kentucky, let me say something. I'm so glad I got my headphones on. Because if she had heard you say Daniel Cameron, she'd have busted this house up getting in here. On screen.
I hate the fact that we both played football at the University of Louisville because I don't want to share a letter with that guy. But yeah, so he decided not to prosecute anybody that was involved in the murder, and it was a murder of Breonna Taylor. Now, if y'all don't remember who she is, backstory, she was the EMT who they served a no-knock warrant to her apartment, and cops came in and started shooting from outside the house, blindly through windows, and her boyfriend at the time fired back, returned fire. They arrested him, even though they didn't go into the apartment looking for him. But she was killed in the firing between one of the cops who was shooting from outside a window with, now keep in mind, blinds were closed, shooting from outside just into an apartment, and the ones that were shooting through the door. And she was killed. So we went through a whole grand jury process, and he did every trick he could possibly do to make it where they would not be able to be found worthy to stand trial by a grand jury. He removed a lot of things that were off the that should have been on board, off the board, so that the jurors were really locked in. He fixed it. Yeah, the fix was in.
Yeah, he fixed it so that the cops wouldn't get.
Now, this was also done around the election time.
Yeah.
And he was tap dancing so that he could be buddy with Donald Trump. You can. I'm not just making this up. You can go look.
It's documented. Right.
He spoke at the Republican National Convention. All these things that he thought this was going to be his end to
Boom,
be in a higher place. He was about to take off. But strange thing happened.
Trump lost.
Trump lost. And when Trump lost, so did he. And he's still the Attorney General, but we haven't seen him. And
they literally haven't seen this man outside.
I have not seen him.
He's getting Uber Eats and Grubhub.
And he putting it under a fake name. Because if anybody knew exactly where he was, he would probably things could go dangerous for him because of the steps that he went to not prosecute police officers.
Well, he married into the right family, though. He got security.
But the way he went around trying not to, I'm trying to be careful on the Uncle Tom conversation because we've already had that conversation within this show. But he didn't tried to appease white people with this
facts.
Kind of storytelling and stuff like that. But long story short, thankfully somebody else this 2 weeks ago, Merrick Garland decided to look further into this. The cops thought they were sky free, but then realized, hey, the search warrant that you got was illegal,
falsified.
You falsified all of these together, which was easily enough for Daniel Cameron to do his job and put them in jail, but he decided not to.
The linchpin, by the way, real quick, the linchpin and all, there was a bunch of falsified things, but the linchpin was that they said there was mail that was being delivered there. They were able to track it and see that her previous boyfriend had mail that had been delivered there, only to find out that was false. Categorically, completely false.
No drug dealer get mail. No, what's wrong with these people?
So long story short, I'm glad somebody else did the job that he would not do. I feel for Breonna Taylor's parents. Her mom said it's been, she waited, I forget the exact amount of days, but she had literally counted down to the day 765 days or whatever for this moment where the cops are being held accountable for the murder of her daughter. But all that to say, I'm looking for Daniel Cameron to step out of the woods and at least say my bad or something, whatever it is that I don't even know what I'm looking for, but just show your face,
outside.
Bro. Just come out. We want to talk. We just want to have a talk with you.
We just want to talk.
Yeah.
So that
hurt nobody.
Just a few thousand of us want to have.
Matter of fact, me and Paul ain't gonna even get out the car. We just gonna sit and listen from the window. Right. While you and Andre chop it up. We ain't even gonna get out.
No.
My fist
I'm driving. I'm just driving. So
fist being balled up don't mean nothing. It's just how I talk. He don't
look like Arthur. Arthur is just that Arthur.
But that's my APB is Daniel Cameron. Come on outside. Because
come out and play, bro.
You need it in this moment. To come to the carpet.
I need answers. Clarify a couple things. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a good one.
My APB is for Kenneth Jerome Riley, number 13 for the Cincinnati Bengals. Arguably one of the greatest cornerbacks to ever live, had 65 interceptions, just made the finalist as a senior from the senior committee. What is wrong with the NFL Hall of Fame where a brother can get 65 interceptions?
When they weren't throwing the ball, people.
When they weren't throwing the ball 40 times a game, and he can't get into Canton, and he played in Cincinnati. Y'all killing me, man.
He played in the desert.
Bruh.
They didn't even need to throw the ball against Cincinnati back in the 70s.
Boy. Yeah, I'm gonna need the committee to do their job and induct Ken Riley into the Hall of Fame, arguably the greatest bingo ever. It's not Anthony Munoz, it's Ken Riley. That's it. I'm light this week.
Hey.
I want to add something to it, but I really don't have anything to add to it. Like, it's 65 interceptions. The league, I think the career leaders is 82, but then there's like a group of them. Yeah, there's a group of them within the 60s. They didn't throw the ball, and he still. So that means when they did throw it, he was there.
Right.
Literally, it's like the treatment that Deion Sanders got back in his prime, where it was like, we're only going to, because I often tell people, especially young people that don't remember when Deion was playing, they would look and see, well, yeah, but he only had 8 interceptions that year. I'm like, they threw the ball to his side exactly 11 times that year.
Right. You
follow what I'm saying?
Right.
And these were 5 and outs. These were this is crazy. That's strong. That's strong. I got nothing. I got no follow for that. Well, my APB is, and I've been saying this as we've opened the show several times now. This is our 8th show, and I think probably 4 of them I've opened with it being a sunny, mild Delaware. I'm gonna need some summertime weather.
You can have ours.
See, here's the thing. I say that almost a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but all jokes aside, I'm kind of scared, okay? Because it's the dead of August, and the high is 78. I'm going to need summertime weather in August. We're not talking about June. In August. We need to be more frightened over, and I'm not talking about the causes and who's responsible for climate change and the earth getting warmer. There are whole icebergs that, how they talk about, you only see the tip of the iceberg because it's much bigger and, it's at the bottom. There's no bottom left because the icebergs are boiling. I'm actually a little bit panicked at how cool it's been in August. And so my APB is I need some actual summertime weather. Now, I'm sure I'm going to regret this. There's no doubt. Next week, I bet you the heat index is going to be 112. I don't know. I'm just saying that I can live with a heat index of 112 in August because it's supposed to be that high. And as a responsible human being who lives on the planet, we got to come up with some real solutions because we ain't talking about our kids and our grandkids and future generations. There's some weird animals coming up out the ground.
Man, some weird insects.
Bugs.
There's some insects that
being here. Birds are leaving. I've been seeing these geese migrating, they're confused because of the weather. And so, my APB this week is for summertime weather. I'm scared, and I'm going to need you to come back because this ain't right.
This two-a-days weather ain't the same as my two-a-days weather.
Nah,
man. My two-a-days weather, we did film study in the afternoon because it was hey, it's hot. It ain't that hot right now. But anyway.
It's hot out here, though, and it don't get hot out here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It was 97 out.
I'm going to need somebody to talk to them icebergs and them penguins.
Right.
And them skinny polar bears where we can see the ribs. This weather is getting a little bit frightening. And normally I don't scare easily. And normally I'm not one of those big environmental people. But I'm going to need y'all to throw more than $390 billion towards the environment.
Y'all going to force me to move further north instead of south. We used to go south. I'm moving north now.
What do you say? I'm moving to Canada. That's it.
One other APB we normally do, we in week 8 or episode 8, but I took a couple weeks off, but not much has changed other than Brittany Griner has been sentenced to 9 years of Russian jail for less than a teaspoon of hash oil. So we are still sending our prayers and light to her that they
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna show y'all something. I know I probably shouldn't do this, but I live in a place where this is legal. This right here is more than Brittany Griner had in her bag. And
they convicted her as a trafficker.
For 9 years.
9 years.
This cost me $15 at the dispensary.
Yep. And she's 6 foot.
It cost her 9 years.
And she's 6'9".
This is twice what she had.
Mm-hmm. And for the people that are, there's always them that are saying, well, she committed a crime and she needs to do the time and all this other stuff. I'm normally one of them people that if you commit the crime, the time is what it is. But the thing that y'all failing to realize is she's not doing the time for the crime she committed. She's doing there's no, unless everybody taking one drop apiece, you are not a drug trafficker.
There's not enough drops in that teaspoon to even be considered a trafficker.
It's reasonable
she getting caught up
because if you look at her vape pens, it's totally reasonable to believe she forgot it was in there because they were half full.
Yeah,
you need to do that again. You're freezing.
I said, based on what she was found with in her bag, it's totally reasonable to agree or believe that she forgot it was in there because they
didn't know it was in there, right?
Right. Because I just showed you how small that is.
I can stick that in my shoe.
Right.
You could forget that's in a side pocket or whatever.
So hopefully they find solutions. They do whatever needs to work out. They just filed an appeal of the sentencing yesterday. So hopefully, justice prevails somewhere within this, because 9 years, 9 years is a lot for anybody to do for any kind of, sentence for something that you didn't.
There's actual violent criminals
that are doing less time. Yeah. So we just want to send positive light to her. If you still want to sign the petition, please do go to www.wearebg.org. Put your name on the signature, just so we can let her know we still appreciate her and still sending love to her. So that's the last APB.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And with that, I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us here at The Gray Matters. As always, we appreciate anybody that takes the time to tune in and listen to us. We hope that it's been very thought-provoking. We hope that we've given you something to chew on, take with you. If you have any ideas, feel free to leave comments. Let us know. Send us an email. Give us a shout. Let us know if there's a topic that you would like us to discuss. And as always, be blessed.
Absolutely. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share, do all those things. We are officially on all streaming platforms as of this show. So make sure that you check us out and spread the word. We're just trying to spread a decent amount of content out there for you. So until the next time, keep searching for the light.
All right. Peace.